I've always known that I wanted to be a mom. I actually worked as a preschool teacher for over 7 years. Before that, I worked at summer camps as a counselor. I just always wanted to be around children. I have the patience, I'm fun, and I love it. So with that being said, I want to get into my birth story with Levi and Remi. Now, Levi was a natural birth versus Remi, who was a C-section.
Hi, my name is Jodi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Throughout my journey, I've met some pretty interesting people, done crazy things, had heartbreaks, met the love of my life, laughed until I cried, traveled to over 64 countries, learned some pretty hard lessons. I've loved hard, lost, won, and then some. I'm a daughter, mother, wife, sister, best friend, costume designer, preschool teacher, senior food awards judge, Observer Style Woman of the Year awardee, secretary, television host, socialite, makeup artist, sales rep, model, and now YouTuber. Join me as I talk about everything from motherhood to makeup, style, lifestyle, and just about everything in between. Come along with me as I show you a glimpse into my crazy, hectic life. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Jodi.
It's Remi now. I knew that I wanted a summer baby, and I knew that I wanted my kids to be close together in age. So when I started trying for Remi, I went to my Chinese calendar. It's available on online. I wanted a little girl, and I wanted her to be born in the summer because Canada in the winter time would be hard on me again, even though I had the full maternity wardrobe of winter clothes. But also for Levi, for him wanting to go outside and play, I'd have to buy an extra wardrobe for him. And I was like, you know what, let me try my best to have a little summer baby. And this is where, sometimes you hear me talk about Cosmic Woman. I called Ramona. So I switched over to a Diva cup, or sorry, not a Diva cup, that's a brand. I switched over to a menstrual cup because I was like, I don't want to use any tampons. I just want everything to be as natural. I kind of switched up my diet. I called Ramona and I said, I just want a cleanse. So she told me about doing a V-steam, which is a vaginal steam, which I love them. She gave me all natural vitamins, and she gave me some tea and just everything to kind of work and get things going. I followed my ovulation calendar, and I followed my the Chinese calendar, which tells you like which days would be your optimal days to get the sex that you want. So in February of 2000, when was homegirl born? She was in the So I'm big and pregnant, moving house. She was born in 2019, no? Yeah. So in February 2019, I moved house. And boy, I don't think you guys understand when I tell you, I did everything. Everything that you see in this house, I moved it. Me and my Fortuna. Let me tell you something. That Toyota Fortuna, let me tell you something. I packed up everything from the old house and I moved it over here. And when I moved it over here, I hung it up. Would I have to drill it and hang it up? I packed it out. I did everything. It took me a couple weeks, and you know who helped me a lot? My brother's girlfriend, Shay. She really helped me a lot. She helped me to organize my cupboard. It's color coded, and she really helped me a lot. But it was just so hard being pregnant. I hurt my back because when I was moving over the paintings can't just stay on the floor. If they stay on the floor, they're just going to stay there for months on end. And I would be hanging up my paintings, and certain things are heavy, so you have to use a drill to get the nail in the wall. And I guess the vibration of the drill, I hurt my back. And moving, I wouldn't wish moving on anybody. Moving is rough. Moving while pregnant is like a punishment. Anyway, I'm the woman of the house. I feel like, I like my things in a certain place. I like my things in a certain way. So I guess it was my duty to move everything over and keep them in that place and make sure everything was organized. I'm just glad that's over with. With Remi, my feet got really swollen. My nose got really swollen. Those are things I did not have with Levi. With Levi, I had, sciatica. With Remi, if I had sciatica, it was very slight. But with Remi, my feet got swollen. My nose got swollen to the point where under my baby toe, like the skin was slitting because my toes were just getting so fat. Anyway, in Canada now, and you get to set your C-section date 10 days before the actual due date. So I picked, I think it was 8 days prior, and I picked the 20th just because I don't really remember things that well. You know, I mix up lots of dates. I don't remember anybody's birthday. So I said, you know, at least when I'm old and I have Alzheimer's, I'll know it's the 20th for the two of them. Nice even number. It's divided by 2. You can divide it by 10. You can divide it by 4. Yes. You can divide it by 5 too. You can divide it by many, many things. So going to the hospital now, and same thing. So I have on my same gown. I've done my hair. I've done my nails. You're not supposed to do any of those things, by the way. Your nails, they need to be able to see your nail bed to see if you're losing oxygen. Homegirl had on turquoise. No, I didn't have on turquoise. I think I had on orange. And of course I had on makeup because I'm not gonna have you taking pictures of me and I'm gonna look at... I hate that. I'm just a little bit too vain to like be in no makeup, like at my most vulnerable stage, like presenting a baby, and I know you're gonna send it to auntie, uncle, but nope, not happening. Not happening. So instead of an epidural, I was given a spinal, which where did they give it? Oh, so I had to go into it's an operating theater for the C-section instead of like a labor bed ward thing. And I had to go in alone for the spinal. Now, remember, I'm afraid of needles. I'm naked.
Naked and afraid.
I have on this stupid head, what do you call it? The bag? What do you call it? A net. And I find out whenever you like put your hair in a net, there's always that one. Anyway, so I'm on the bed, bending over. This is a bright light. It's a cold bed. The nurses and the doctors are all talking, and it was just so intimidating and just so, I just felt so alone because for the spinal, nobody was allowed in the room with me, even though Sean and my mom were at the hospital. And I remember saying to the nurses, I'm like, this is really intimidating, you know? And she's like, oh, what happened? And I was like, I understand you guys have things to do, but like, I just feel like I'm over here and naked, bent over, and nobody's paying me any mind, nobody's talking. So she came and she spoke to me. I guess, you know, they're caught up in what they're doing, and I guess they just didn't realize. So anyway, I get my spinal and I lie down, and I realize that there's straps on the bed. And I said, you know, if you strap down my hands, my nose is gonna itch me so bad. I said, I'll keep my hands to the side. Please don't tie down my hands. I'm not gonna try pull down the curtain because there's a curtain here. I was like, please don't tie down my hands. I really, like, don't do that. So she said, okay, no problem. Just don't try pull down the curtain to where the doctors are working. Sean came in and I started having a little bit of a reaction to the spinal. So I was shivering, but I was not cold. I was actually hot. And I was just shivering so bad. And they ended up giving me something to counteract the shivering. And Sean just looked down at me, and I'm shivering. This time I'm also sweating, and my lip is just going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm kind of dozy because of the spinal, and he starts to cry. I mean, I must have looked a whole mess. Like I must have got like so sorry, and my hands just there like, and I didn't feel any pain. I just felt a lot of pressure, and I could hear the doctors talking. And I remember hearing when he said, the bladder is out. And I looked over at Sean, and I'm like, they took out my bladder. And it was kind of like a little joke, you know, and he was like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, they took out my bladder. And later on I found out that they took out my organs, like, and put them beside me, safely beside me, so that they could pop out the baby. Whew, boy, that was weird. That was really weird. And then when they were trying to push the baby to come out, it was a lot of pressure. Like I could feel people on me pushing me. Then I could see the doctor's head bouncing up and down because he was like all of 4'6". So clearly he's on the bed if I can see his head, and he's pushing and pushing. Anyway, Remi finally comes out, and when they put her head beside mine, she was so hot. She was really, really hot. I just remember that so clearly about her. She came out like hot. They took her over to the table where Sean did like they've already cut the cord clearly, and he did like I guess trimmed it up, and he put on her first diaper, and they wrapped her up, and then they were, I guess, putting back in my bladder. After C-section, my stomach was so much more different than with Levi. My belly was hard and it was still round. Like it didn't have that drop like how it did with Levi. So I remember I was walking down the street, holding Levi's hand, and I had the pram with Remi in there. And then my belly still looked pregnant. And I remember a woman looking at me and I was like, I must look like I can't close my legs. I have a toddler, a newborn, and I look pregnant again.
Stop it. Get some help.
And nobody really tells you about the whole C-section scar. When you have a C-section, the scar is right where your panty stops. So my panty kept rubbing on the stitches and it was so uncomfortable. So I had to buy, and Amazon could not prime it fast enough, C-section panties that kind of come up a little bit more. I still wore diapers again just because it was just moving around with the C-section to get up and go to the bathroom. Maybe I couldn't get there too quickly. I still wore diapers, and I only wore diapers for the first 2 days. But yeah, the C-section scar in the panties, that was rough. That was really, really rough. I definitely would suggest that if you're getting a C-section, to get the C-section panties that come up higher than your scar. The belly took a little longer to go down with Levi, and with Remi, I got diastasis recti, where the muscles of my stomach just became so stretched that now my stomach protrudes a little bit. I went to physiotherapy to kind of try to retrain those muscles. I actually should be sitting up a lot straighter now. And with Remi, I also breastfed. Neither of my kids are breastfed exclusively because I didn't make enough milk. And I do think breast is best. However, I do think a fed child is better. So I think there's a lot of pressure being put on moms with, oh, breast milk. And it's great if you can make that breast milk. And if you can't, it's okay to supplement as well. Like, you know, you don't have to feel like you're a failure. I know sometimes I was getting those feelings and I was like, you know what? Again, I just pushed those feelings to the side and I just picked up that Similac off the shelf because me not make nobody let me feel that I am less of a mom because my titty them dry up. But the Similac, she's fine. Levi's fine. They're actually both really smart. Now, in terms of introducing Remi to Levi, I did have a plan. So I bought a beautiful fire truck and I wrapped it. And when Levi came to the hospital, when they told me when he was on his way, so I was in my own room and I put Remi down in the cot beside me. And he came into the room and I made sure that I was not holding her. Because I didn't want him to walk in the room and he'd be like, that's my mommy. Who is that? What is she doing? What's going on here? Anyway, I think Remi's awake. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. I didn't want to be holding her. I wanted him to kind of take his own time. I also wrapped up this fire truck, so Remi kind of brought a present for her big brother. A lot going on in my womb. It's a huge fire truck I have for him downstairs. Anyway, he came over and he was like, mommy, hugs up, and he's like, looking, and I'm like, Levi, this is your baby sister. He was so excited that we kind of forgot to wash his hands. But anyway, she survived. And he was there and he was touching her, and I just created this little space on the bed. Alright, I just opened up my legs really big and put one child here and put Remi kind of laying down. And he touched her and he kissed her and he's playing with her hair and talking about her, and it was just such a sweet moment. And I think that the fact that I was not holding her when he came into the room, that he was able to go to her on his own terms, and I think that made a very big difference. So if you're going to introduce a child or your children to the youngest baby, I would suggest kind of putting the baby in the cot. And Remi was crying when I put her down, and I really did not want Levi to walk in and see me, his mommy is holding somebody else. I didn't want to break his little heart, and I think that made a big difference. And Levi and Remi, Levi is so protective of his sister and he loves her. You go onto Instagram and you see my videos, you will see that the two of them just have such an amazing relationship. I really wish they didn't wake me up this morning at 5:45, both of them, like it was a plan. But anyway, so that's my birthing story. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, like the video.